Right, the weekend is upon us, which means only one thing. It is time for our weekly roundup with myself, Rick Bullemere, David Wells, the CEO of GoZero, Andy Taylor, the Chief Operations Officer of GoZero, and our special guest star today, Colin Curtis, who is the MD of Support the Goals and TBL Services. How are you, Colin?
I'm good, thank you, Rick. Thank you for inviting me.
Great to have you. And we're all in our sheds our sports cabin, Alpine sports cabins, but you've got bricks. So if the big bad wolf comes huffing and puffing, you're the only one that will survive.
Hopefully, yes. This is my, it's not so much a shed. This is what I call my garoffice. It's like half garage, half office.
Nice. Very good.
So, but yeah, the big bad wolf is trying his best to blow it down at the moment and luckily not managing.
As we normally do, we go through, go around anti-clockwise and do our highlights of the week. So we'll let David and Andy start to give you a bit of time to think about it, Colin, and then we'll find out a bit more about Support the Goals, which is fascinating. We had a good chat earlier this week, and all about what you guys do and how you're helping the planet and also companies like GoZero. So first and foremost, so David, highlight of the week, you sir.
Highlight of the week. It's been an awesome week this week, so I've absolutely loved it. Obviously, our filming in London, that's the biggest highlight. We had all of our guys out in London with the cars, and obviously with the less traffic on the road, we got some amazing shots of just some of the iconic buildings, you know, Buckingham Palace, Trafalgar Square, Piccadilly Circus. It was brilliant. Absolutely loved it. And I'm sure you did, Rick, 'cause you've done most of the editing. But yeah, that's just my highlight of the minute. The footage is awesome, out of this world.
Yeah, fully agree. And what about you, Andy Taylor?
I have to say, you know, it's good to get out there, but you know, to be in London with very little footfall and traffic, I felt it was a once in a lifetime kind of situation. You know, if we go back post the 15th, so in 10, 11 days time, I think it'll be a different ball game altogether. But yeah, the guys enjoyed getting out there. You know, the cars look brilliant. We've got all branded, so you know, the ones that were there, they look great, I think. So it's good.
Yeah, I've got to totally agree with you lads on that. Getting out into London. So I'll put a little video on here as well of some of the highlights from this week. But we've been making some little promo videos, some little marketing content, doing some pickups with clients, but basically taking the entire Tesla fleet. So our Model S's, Model X's, Model 3s, all around London, and getting them into the best places. So Buckingham Palace, Piccadilly Circus. Love that shot down by the London Eye as well. And we had a couple of great photographers, Mariana and Andrew Lunn, getting some cool snaps. I'm looking forward to seeing those. But totally agree. The lack of smog and the lack of cars was really obvious. But there was still, you know, you see motorbikes going past and big trucks, and that's what stood out for me in the editing was that our Teslas, zero emissions, fully electric. You know, you could stand behind those. You could park them in your front room if you really wanted to, and you'd be fine. But then I'm stood at the traffic lights filming the cars going past, and I'm just getting gulps of CO2 from like just disgusting emissions from other vehicles, and it really sort of drives it home that we need to start thinking about transitioning to fully electric and getting those poisonous vehicles off the road as soon as possible. So yeah, that was definitely my highlight as well. So Colin, over to you, sir.
So it's World Environment today, as you probably all know. So it's a really fantastic time to be talking about this one. My world is very different from yours. I'm up in Lancashire in a fairly rural little place. So we're lucky we don't really have much in the way of smog or anything like that. And I've got to admit, going into London and seeing all those landmarks sounds quite exciting, and it's quite a long time, or it feels like it, since I've done that now. But probably my highlight of the week was yesterday morning. I went out took my wife out just to go and have breakfast, walking down by the side of a little canal. Just drove out there, kind of walking down there and grabbing just a little fruit salad, taking in all the lovely scenery. But I think one of the bits I quite liked was I've got a BMW i3, so I'm whizzing down there.
Nice.
And
fully electric, excellent, good work.
Fully electric, yeah. So just where the canal is, there's a little humpback bridge. So we all had to go and stop to go over the bridge. And the car in front of me stopped, and I noticed I was behind a Model S. And then the car behind me stopped, and I noticed that was a Model X. And I was thinking, what a really cool world that in a small village in Lancashire, the only 3 cars on the road that have all had to go and stop, we've had a mini traffic jam of purely electric cars. I was thinking, that's great. You know, I can walk down by the side of the canal knowing that those cars stopping has produced no pollution whatsoever. So it kind of made my walk a little bit nicer.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what? That's a really good point, actually. Just sorry, because you know when we're in London, what you really notice, and Rick, you touched on it, the amount of traffic lights cars have to stop at and just chop, 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 and pump out their polluting emissions. It's unbelievable. You know, even just going around, what was it, Trafalgar Square, just light after light after light after light. Just thinking, you know, when normality comes back and they're full of cars, just the pollution in the smog will just come back. And yeah, we've got to do everything we can to accelerate it. So get more and more people driving electric cars, get them out of their fossil fuel diesels and petrols and stuff. So, and getting them in our service. But
I'm also very glad that you didn't manage to catch me on film stacking the electric scooter in Westfield car park.
yeah,
My ribs still hurt, my hand hurts, and my knees cut open.
But the scooter is okay. It's pretty much unscathed.
Yeah, I think that came out. I came out worse than that scooter, that's for sure.
that scooter is brilliant fun, fast, as Andy found out, falling off, and just they're the future in cities.
I think it's got a fault.
Yeah, the user is the fault.
The
Yeah,
front
too
brake.
fast.
Well, the guys from Personal Electric Transport, so Roberto and Mark will be very pleased to see that it withheld your stack. But yeah, they are quick, and that's one of the quicker models on their fleet. But all the guys had a go, all the drivers, all the team had a go on the scooters. I think they all loved it, and what's perfect about those is they fit perfectly inside the back of the Tesla boot within a boot, so a definite bonus. Colin, we'll have to get you on one of those next time we see you.
I reckon I would be joining Andy's ranks if I tried, and I'd end up with a broken knee or a broken elbow or something like that. I'm dangerous on 2 wheels at the best of times, though they do look good fun.
They are. They're great, and they're a brilliant way to get around London. And the police. I was on one when we were filming, going down Pall Mall, and I might have taken a picture on my phone whilst also on the scooter, and the policeman did say, "Hey, you, why don't you concentrate on riding a little scooter instead of taking pictures?" And I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." I felt very foolish, very childish, and I was like, "Yeah, absolutely spot on." So I won't be doing that again. So Colin, we had a great chat about everything you do at Support the Goals. Could you give us a bit of an overview, in a nutshell, what Support the Goals does?
Yeah, of course can. It's born out of a really simple idea. So first of all, you guys have all heard of the UN Sustainable Development Goals, I guess?
Yep. Yes.
Wonderful. Okay, that's fantastic. You are very much in the minority. So if you go and ask the bulk of people, have you heard of these things? Most people go, the what? It doesn't help the fact we call them ridiculous acronyms like the SDGs, which to my mind sounds like something you need to go and get a cream from your doctor for.
Yeah.
But generally speaking, I mean, awareness in this country is kind of around about less than 10% based on the small amounts of surveys that have been done, which, given it's pretty much one of the only plans that pretty much every world leader has signed up to go and do, that's kind of quite a worry. So the aim of Support the Goals is really to try and raise awareness of what the goals are. And the only way we're going to go and achieve those goals is if businesses get behind them. So it's particularly focused on the business community. And what we're doing is we're going out there and we're researching which businesses are doing good things to go and support the goals. And we're giving them a rating. I'll come back to that in a moment. And we're giving them some good recognition. Because if they're doing great things, we want them to get recognised. So the way we do that is there is a public listing on the site where anybody can go on and see all the businesses that are publicly shared. They can see their rating, they can see which of the Sustainable Development Goals they're contributing to. So Go Zero contributes really nicely towards Goal 11, which has a strong focus on sustainable transport, that's sustainable cities and communities. So you can go on there and go and check out the companies, and the companies all get a bit of a certificate. They can get some stories written about them and get some shout outs on social media, and a badge to go and say we support the global goals with their rating to include in any collateral. The main reason we're doing this is just because nobody's heard of these goals whatsoever, so we need to go and start a conversation about them. So the rating system rates how much these companies are talking about the goals. What we want is for every company to go and publish a bit of a plan on their website, nothing complicated, just saying we support the goals, and in particular, we're focusing on these ones. To go and put some measurable commitments on there, to go and show examples of things they're doing to go and support them, and to go and show how much they're doing to go and contribute to that goal, their progress. So that could be, I don't know, something really simple like, we're supporting Goal 12 on responsible consumption and production. We've made a commitment to go and halve food waste as an example by 20% by 2025. And so far we're 30% of the way through our goal, and here's some of the things we've done. That on its own, that'll score 4 stars in our rating system.
That's great.
And to go and drive this forward, what we also do is we encourage people to go and get their suppliers involved as well. So we research all the suppliers of every one of our members for completely free. And that way, all their suppliers get to go and find out what the goals are. And they probably want to go and do it there because their customers are doing it too.
So just a quick question then for let's put it to a company like ours. So we're a zero emission Tesla taxi service, but also promoting all things sustainable transport. So e-bikes and e-scooters. Presumably that ticks quite a few boxes, but what things do you look for in a company, and what can we do to get a 100% awesome rating from Support the Goals?
It's a 5-star rating.
5-star, just like our service, 5-star.
5 stars. We need an extra star for you guys. There's a big difference between what I look for as an individual and what I think is a really cool thing to go and do, and what we look for in the rating system. And we devised the rating system to be really objective and really simple. So we don't judge how good or how bad a company is. We don't judge what they're doing, whether they've got a great plan to support the goals or a terrible one. We just look for the fact that there's a plan. And we work on the basis that company, if they've gone as far as doing that, it's probably full of good people who are then going out and talking to other good people and who are continually wanting to do something good. So we just look for a plan, some commitments, some actions, and some progress. And as long as you've got all those 4 things, and all those 4 things reference the Sustainable Development Goals, you'll get 4 stars. No issue with that at all. But honestly, in terms of companies doing good things, then low carbon transport is what you're doing at the moment is quite awesome. So anything you can do within the business to go and make sure your suppliers are getting involved as well is quite fantastic.
Yeah, I was going to say that to David and to Andy, because there's various clients that come with us and drive in our cars, and I think it's something that we probably should be communicating through our, not just on our social channels, but through our networks and through our drivers as well. And let's say, for example, we do a lot of airport pickups. So if we were speaking to someone like Virgin or British Airways or any of the main airlines, I know that a lot of the airlines are focusing hugely on reducing their CO2 emissions, because the majority of their costs come from fuel. So it's in their best interest. So it makes sense for them to work with companies like you, I guess.
Yeah, totally. They're all having to go and work hard for this, whether it's because they're wanting to go and reduce their costs, whether it's because they're coming under pressure from their customers, or maybe their investors, or maybe the increasing amount of legislation. There's not enough of that, but there is starting to be more and more legislation coming along. Or maybe they actually just want to do the right, but the key thing for us is to make sure that everything is all aligned towards those sustainable development goals. So we're all heading in the same direction. So that way there's one global action plan, and we all know exactly who's contributing how much to it, and all the companies are, trying to make a difference towards that. So what we're doing is just trying to give them the recognition and persuading them to do a bit more.
Yeah, I think it's great, and you know, the more I think about it and listen to yourself, Colin, I think there's already a number of companies that we can, you know, look to partner with directly from this, from the tie-up, and, you know, get them on our marketplace. I'm sure there's products and services that we can share between us and ourselves. We've got a huge customer base down in sort of London, Thames Valley, where we need to be promoting what other companies do as well in our sphere. So yeah, I'm super excited, and the more we can promote and share what other companies are doing like us around you know, reducing emissions and helping us achieve you know, net zero or net carbon zero by 2050 or before that would be great. You know, that's certainly why we're in business, to help people lower their emissions. You know, there's a bigger world out there, and we need to protect it for the future of our children and their children.
Plus they get to go in cool cars as well.
Yes,
big bonus.
And then just a quick line on TBL Services as well. I know that's another hat you wear. If you had to put that in a quick nutshell, what would that be?
Yeah, so I wear too many hats, honestly. I really do. TBL, triple bottom line. So that's all about balancing people and planet and profit, which is what we all need to do within businesses. So that's a cooperative of like-minded businesses and professionals, who all of whom want to go and see the Sustainable Development Goals achieved. So it provides consulting services to go and help companies build strategies to support the goals. It provides a whole range of software tools and basically lots of things. What we're trying to get is as many organizations as possible who've got complementary skills and services who can really go and drive towards that one single aim of achieving the goals. So, you know, my main aim there is to go and take companies who are looking to go and do good things and put them in contact with people and organizations who are delivering those.
Excellent.
That's great. Yeah, that sounds really good.
A quick question for all the panel, as it were, the people in the Zoom room. So today, Germany has announced that they're going to put electric chargers, or every petrol station or gas station, if you're American, is going to have electric charge ports in all the stations. And I think it's a great idea. You know, I think there's a lot of electric cars in Germany, but do you think that's something that's going to be feasible in the UK? And if so, how long do you think that would take to implement? First question to Andy Taylor.
Okay. Yeah. Do I think it's achievable? Yes, it is. I think the infrastructure is probably will be one of the prohibitive factors, and I don't mean just electric supply. I mean, if you're going to change, you know, a petrol station and turn it into an electric car charge station, I think that's quite a lot of change, because of mixing electric and combustible fuels together in the same area will present challenges. And I think it's an emergence of companies like GridServe that are essentially looking to capitalise on the market swaying to electric vehicles, but also the change in, you know, how you fill a car up with electric. It's not instant. It does take sort of, you know, 20 to 50 minutes to stick in a couple 100 miles of electricity, you know, in today's world. So that means there's an opportunity there to go and do some shopping, to have a meeting, to socialise. So I think someone like, you know, I'm using GridServe as an example because they're the only ones in the UK that I know of that are actively sort of pursuing that opportunity and building specifically designed stations to charge a car, but also to retail, business meetings, etc. So I think one of the first ones, which is due out this year, is not too far from me, actually, in Braintree, off the A120 near Stansted. Mm-hmm. So I'm interested to keep following that one and watch it develop.
Well, infrastructure is vital. Colin, David, do you have thoughts on that, or as David covered, as Andrew covered the whole lot?
I've always got a thought in David's world. That's what I like to say. What's going on in David's world? You know, I think actually, if you think about a petrol station and you just big picture it for a second, it's got a massive roof. Yes. Fill it with solar, put a load of batteries next to it, and it charge all the time, and then from the batteries put it into the cars. And while we're all waiting to take that electricity, because as Andy says quite rightly, it does take a while to fill up a 100 kilowatt size battery. Serve us more coffee, because we love buying coffee, our EV drivers. My coffee bill's always big when you're an EV driver. Regardless of which car you drive, you're always buying a coffee, Costa or Starbucks or whatever. So Starbucks and Costa, here's a tip. Give your EV drivers some discount. That would be good.
There we go. Let's partner up with them and get them on the platform for a special discount on the Go Zero platform. Download the app now, free from the App Store on iOS and Android. Colin, over to you, sir.
I've not read the details of that one. I've not heard of this one before, but it's an interesting idea, and I like what David was just saying there. Probably my only concern with switching petrol stations over to putting chargers in there is it doesn't seem to be thinking big enough to me. It's like petrol stations were designed for people who want to drive along, stop, fill up with petrol, and then keep going again. And I just don't think the change that EVs represents actually works in quite the same way. So I love that. One thing I really love with my car is that when you need to go and stop and fill up, or stop and charge, it's an opportunity to go and take a bit of a break. And as you say, have a coffee, go and stretch your legs, maybe go and do a bit of shopping or something. And it makes you rethink the way you travel. Mm-hmm. So to my mind, the best place for charging points are going to be outside shops, in retail parks, Starbucks and Costa every single time. Those guys should make a killing. So petrol stations doesn't always quite seem the right way. You want to go and put it in those places where people are naturally going to go and stop and do all these different things. But maybe that's an opportunity for petrol stations to go and change the way they're being, because, there's very few petrol stations that just sell petrol now. They're all kind of wild bean cafes, and I think we'll switch from the idea of having a petrol station with a bolt on Starbucks to it becoming a Starbucks with lots of charging points on the outside of it eventually.
Yeah, definitely with you on that, Colin. I think the petrol stations make most of their money from milk and bread these days. Think about the amount of tax that's on fuel anyway, so they can up. So yeah, I think you're right. I think one day, actually, when you think about it, where we're going as a company, let's just bypass the long drive, and we'll just put you in our electric air service, and we'll whiz you up at half the time. That's where we want to go. We want to get you into the sky in our electric planes. So one day.
Or of course, you will be. Yeah, you will be full up with when you start in the morning from our electric chargers that we'll be installing.
Oh yes, good segue.
You'll start full, wake up in the morning, full tank of fuel. You don't get that in a petrol car or a diesel.
No, you know what? That's the best thing about driving electric. You just hit the head. Well, there's loads of good things about driving electric, but every day you wake up 180, 200 miles in the tank. If you were charging it every night, you don't need to charge it every night. But
if you remember, David, to charge your car, which you didn't on the day of our big day of filming. Not only were you late for filming, but you didn't charge your car. I was my anniversary, blah blah blah. Yeah,
epic fail.
Anyway,
before he was married.
Lockdown's actually been a bit of a shock for me, because it's been the first time I've ever charged my car at home. So since I got my BMW i3, my normal routine is I usually work at Lancaster University. So get up in the morning, go and drive about 10 miles down the road to the university, go there, hook up to the charging point, sit in the office, do some work, come back, my car's full up, drive home. So I've had the car for about 6 months now, and it's only during lockdown I've actually charged it at home. I've never done that before.
That's brilliant.
It's more expensive at home as well, I find. So
it's free at the university, so definitely.
And for those that don't know, those that haven't driven an electric car or owned one or leased one, there are loads of different ways you can charge an electric car. So you can charge it off a 3-pin plug in your house. I don't even have a charger in my house because I rent here. So we just charge off the 3-pin plug. You plug it in overnight, and you'll charge at roughly 6 miles per hour. So it's not going to be a fast charge, but if you think about it and you schedule it, then it's fine. Then you've also got the destination charges, which you mentioned, Colin. The fact that if you're going to a hotel or a restaurant or a shop that might have charging facilities there, you're more likely to go there because they've got charging. So people need to change the way their mentality of how they drive and think, well, do you know what? Tomorrow I'm going to Heathrow Terminal 4. I know there's a supercharger there, so I can stop and charge there. The supercharger charges mega quick, and I can pop in, have a coffee, have some lunch, go to the subway, whatever it is, and make it part of my journey. So I think it's just thinking about the way we travel rather than thinking, do you know what? I'm gonna stop for petrol, or I've got a tank of petrol which will last me X amount. In fact, there was a good post the other day about the new Model Y, fully charged, can do 317 miles, which will take you from London all the way to Hadrian's Wall. So, there you go.
Wherever that is.
Exactly.
Just up the road.
Just
that way.
Yeah. I think for me, I think it's important that what they don't do is try and shoehorn EVs into petrol stations and just try and make it fit. This is innovative technology, so we need innovation around how to charge it and just changing the way that we operate in total.
Exactly.
Totally.
Well, I think we've covered everything for this episode of Four Men in a Shed and a brick cabin. If there's anything else to add, now is your time, lads.
Ooh, you normally ask us a question. Don't leave us to throw something out there ourselves. It will all go wrong.
I'm so tired.
Well, I'm going to thank all the guys actually for getting up particularly early this week. They've been off now for a few weeks following all the COVID restrictions, etc. So they've not been used to getting up at 3:15 in the morning, and doing that a couple of days in a row was a bit of a challenge. So I think the guys did fantastic. It was a good week.
I second that. I was trying to film so many cars driving through London, all getting through the same bunch of traffic lights and keeping in a good formation and not getting any tickets, speeding tickets or parking fines was phenomenal. So well done, all the lads. Good work. And well done for you guys for getting up and marshalling it and keeping the energy high as well. So it was a good couple of days. Loved it.
I think actually, Rick, we probably should thank you personally as well, because you marshalled them and kept us on point when it's quite easy for us, especially Andy and I, to drift off and think about other stuff and bits and bobs. But hey, we nailed it. We got the awesome shots. So, thank you. And I'm giving you a cheers as well.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers.
Great fun. And Colin, thank you very much for joining us as well. And great to meet you this week. And we look forward to welcoming you, giving you a ride or a lift in one of the Teslas next time you're down in London. Check out Support the Goals. So if you want to find them online, it's supportthegoals.org. And then if you're on Instagram, it's Support the Goals 2030. And of course, you can follow Go Zero and all of our action on our social media, which is on everything: Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter. Are we on MySpace anymore? No one's on that. And also online. But
or download the app.
Or download the app.
TV.
Exactly. There we go. And you get referrals for everyone that you refer to download the app, so you can get driver credit. So, boom.
Very good.
Competition is not coming yet.
Cheers, lads. Have a great weekend.
Awesome.
Cheers.
Not the same with this,
See you,
but have a
Colin.
good weekend. Cheers, Colin. Take care. Bye now.